and your health. Yeah, I know. As entrepreneurs, we tend to work, well, the statistic says 63% longer than regular employees. And we have family and other important obligations. But we have to realize without addressing our eating and exercise habits, we're raising the risk of serious illness. And then I ask you, where is your business and your family going to be when those serious health issues arise? On Make It Click today, I have with me registered nutrition consultant Jen Beck. Now, Jen, you have your business, so you know all the things that we're all trying to juggle all day long. We talk about all the hats we have to wear and how do we get it done, all the things that we have to be thinking about in our business, but we have to be doing these things to survive. And then how do how do we fit in our health? We know we should be doing it, but it's so difficult.
It can feel really overwhelming. Like for a lot of people, when they first start making choices and changes and they want to improve their health or lose weight, they try and overhaul everything at once. And I will tell you, that's the biggest recipe for disaster, because it's way easier to take healthy eating micro habits and fit them into your day than it is to take your entire day and shove them into a meal plan, right? It's not sustainable. So a big piece of it is really looking at what are the things that I can do to start including one step at a time. So you're starting to develop habits and being able to make healthier choices from there.
Wow, starting a little bit at each time. So in your book, now we all hear that, oh, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. As business owners, that we get up and we're going right away. What's your philosophy on that?
I will say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. However, it doesn't mean that it has to happen at 6, 7, or 8 o'clock in the morning. Breakfast is break fast, meaning that you are breaking your fast. If we look at the way that our body works, not eating until 8 is actually beneficial, or not eating until noon, is actually beneficial, because the way our body operates is noon to 8 is our ideal feeding window. And then from 8 till 4 a.m. is our assimilation and our healing and our restoration time. And then from 4 a.m. until noon is our detoxification. But our body does one thing at a time. So if we're eating during those other windows, it actually impairs our body's ability to function and thrive at its highest level. So breaking your fast is looking at what you're eating and making sure you're starting out with a nutritious meal that has protein in it, that has some healthy veggies, and ideally a little bit of healthy fat. But it doesn't have to be done first thing in the morning.
Well, I really like first thing in the morning. As I was saying to you before we came on here, I just went and made my green shake, and it's after 12 o'clock. I know I used to need to eat first thing in the day, and I've learned how to eat, and now I'm great all morning long. I feel better for it. So yeah, that's really an important thing to learn, that it doesn't mean you have to eat first thing in the morning. Tell me, what is your thoughts? What about caffeine and coffee? Is that okay? Uh,
It depends on the person. There's a lot of research that says that a cup of coffee a day, and we're talking a 6-ounce cup of low acidity organic coffee, is okay and can be beneficial for colon health and for brain function and things like that. The challenge with coffee is that it's extremely acidic. So the average American is not eating, less than 9% eat a dark leafy green on a daily basis. So we're already acidic beings because of the processed foods we eat in the animal fats and animal products. So coffee is then massively impacting that inflammation. So for somebody that has joint pain or any kind of health issues, cortisol issues, belly fat, the caffeine and the acidity of the coffee is not going to be helping them. So it's kind of a gray area, but I tell most of my clients, like, if you can minimize it, wean yourself off of that, and at least replace the coffee that you're consuming with water. One of the biggest challenges I see across the board is dehydration. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we crave caffeine and crave coffee in the first place, is because we need that wake up call. But if we're fully hydrated, we don't need the caffeine nearly as much, if at all.
Wow. Oh, I'm glad. I've always been a water drinker. I always have a good supply here in my office. Hasn't been in. I'm so glad I never became a soda drinker or anything in my life. Yeah, love my water. Can we dive a little deeper into, as business owners, we're trying to maximize our performance, our productivity, help more people in the world. What are some of the things, when you look at granularly, of what's getting in the way of being healthy?
I think a lot of it is the fact that we prioritize everything else except for ourselves, right? We've got to build our business. We've got to help our clients. We've got to take care of our family and all of those things. And the higher achiever you are, typically the less you put yourself at the top of the priority list. So, one of the things that's really important to look at is making sure that you are getting what your body needs so that you can thrive. Because when you feel good, Christine, I mean, everything soars, everything improves. There's a lot of people that love personal development and looking at strategies and mindset strategies and techniques and things like that, and performance techniques. But if you're sluggish throughout the course of the day, or if your confidence is rocked because you're overweight, it doesn't matter how many strategies you have because you're not able to execute those. So when we're looking at the granular things that people can do on a daily basis, like really I would say there's three main things. Number one is make sure you're hydrated. Make sure you're getting half your body weight in ounces of water per day minimum. And then increase that 2 glasses for every coffee, soda, or alcoholic beverage you have, so that you're rehydrating and flushing out what you took in. So number one is hydration. Number two is eat as many whole foods as you can. So things that your great grandmother would recognize, because the whole foods that we have, plants, right, fruits and vegetables, and pasture raised meats, those are going to have the highest level of nutrition. And then number three is sleep. Sleep, especially as entrepreneurs, is one of the things that we sacrifice easily to be able to get things done and to make sure that we hit our goals. But sleeping 7 to 9 hours a day, especially if you can get to bed before midnight, it gives your body that chance to restore so that you can thrive and not just survive. Plus, you'll need the caffeine a lot less if you're getting decent sleep.
So what's with having to get to bed before, if you're going to get, 7, 8 hours of sleep, does it matter when you start sleeping? You said about getting to bed before midnight. What's that all about?
It actually does. So when our body, between 10 and 12 o'clock at night, is when our body makes the most human growth hormone. It makes the most restorative hormones out of any other time during the night. So the earlier that we can get to bed, the better off we are.
Oh, well, that's it. I never would have thought that. I mean, I'm thinking, well, if I get 7, 8 hours, what does it matter which 7, 8 hours it is? But yeah, that's very, very interesting. Um, is there something that people tend to think is really the bad foods to be consuming if you're trying to lose weight? Those little indulgences and whatnot. What don't people realize about consuming the good stuff?
Well, there's various levels of good stuff, and everybody has different definitions of good stuff, right? Some people say
Mine's
good stuff,
cheese. I'm sorry, I got to do the cheese.
right? But even with cheese, there's upgrades, and that's one of the simplest things that we can do, right? If we're looking at what we're normally eating, and if we're eating the standard American diet, like how do we add a vegetable in to that meal, right? If you're getting a burger and fries, maybe swap out half the fries and eat a vegetable with it. Eat a salad or some broccoli or something like that. That little tiny step can have a tremendous impact on your health. A lot of people think that I'm not allowed to be able to have any sweets. If I'm trying to lose weight, I can't eat indulgences. I have to be perfect or it's not going to work. And the one thing I want to leave viewers, audience with, is that you can have indulgences and have your health and lose weight and feel amazing. It's really being intentional about what quality that is, how often you're consuming it, and just making sure that the volume of it And if you're going to have a cookie versus having a sleeve of Oreos, right? So it's not that you can't have it, because
Um,
when we can't have it, then we go into deprivation. So
yeah.
we want to give ourselves permission. But one of the things that I really teach my clients is that when implementing the pause method, and pause is an acronym for physical, agitated, unfulfilled, stressed, or exhausted. Those are the reasons why we eat the things that we shouldn't eat. And when we're really intentional about what goes in our mouth, just that pause. Am I actually hungry? No. Why do I want this? Am I stressed out? Am I angry? Like, what's going on? It allows us to be able to pause in the moment. And then we can choose whether we still indulge in that, how much we do, or do we make a different choice that may be more fulfilling? It may
Mhm.
be I need a hug, or I need to pick up the phone and call my mom or call a friend to be able to get that need met. That's not actually a physical hunger, but we're looking to fill that void or fill a boredom or create a distraction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, oh my God, you say that about calling mom for a hug. Well, I made a call earlier this morning. It was something I was putting off, somebody I needed to speak to and everything. And I picked up the phone and had a great conversation. Afterwards, I was like, I got this energy. Like, wow, where did this? Oh, because I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
And I was starting to feel a little hungry at the moment too, so that's very
Mm.
interesting. Now, one thing we haven't talked about though, we're talking about food and eating and everything. What about physical activity in all of this of being healthy? I
You know,
mean,
physical
that's
activity is one of those things that for a lot of people, they go, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Well, what if we flip that on its head and go, wow, I get to do this for my body, for my brain. I get to give myself a break. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're so head down, getting all the work done, but we forget that our brain can only endure what the butt can absorb. So, right, or maybe that's the other way around. The brain can absorb what the butt can endure. Right. I have a client who, one of the things that we started with her, she's somebody who would sit at her desk for 9, 10 hours a day. And so she started setting a timer. And every 50 minutes, she got up and she either went for a walk or stepped outside, made sure she got to the bathroom and got more water. But 1 minute started turning into 10 minutes. And then she started getting up 5 minutes early and doing some stretching. And now she's working out like an hour a day,
mm,
and she accumulated that, worked up to that over the course of 4 or 5 months. But she loves it now, and she found a way to be able to make it fit into her day. Her brain functions so much more clearly, and she has, greater focus and greater concentration because she's not trying to power through it. She sits down fresh every single hour.
mm. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, here my office is on the second floor of my home, and I remember a couple years ago, the husband came to me and somebody had I think a microwave, and he's like, "Do you want this microwave for your office?" And I'm like, "Why?" "Well, then you can just, reheat your coffee or make lunch." Or I'm like, "No, I need to go up and down the steps 100 times a day to get some more water or eat or whatever. I
Right.
need that exercise." But I was like, I knew, oh my God, no, I could not bring something like that into my office and just stay
Never leave.
here and never leave. I'm like, no.
It's very smart. Very smart.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, please, no, don't do that it's bad enough that, I'm up here, let alone, oh, I never get to come downstairs." I just
Right, right. Well, and I mean, when we're working from home so often these days that it's like, oh, I walk, 200 steps a day between the kitchen, the bathroom, my desk, the kitchen, my bathroom. Like, it's getting up and getting outside and really just breathing in that fresh air and just resetting our brain and our environment and our energy levels.
Oh, yeah, and that's with it being the summer now, it's I want to just stay outside. When I go outside and start watering plants, it's like, "Oh, do I have to go back to work?" There's such a draw there to just not go back to work, but it's like, yes, I have to do that.
Well, and one thing I've started doing is just working off my laptop, and I'll take it outside and sit on the
Mm,
patio on the deck and just be able to work out, even if it's an hour or a half an hour.
Mhm.
Just that energy that you get from being in nature,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so restorative and energizing.
Yeah, and the air is so different than what you have in your home.
Mhm.
That alone, yeah, yeah. So, awesome. Well, Jennifer, is there something that you would like to offer our listeners that might be able to help them to be a little bit healthier?
Yes, I talked about sweets, right, and indulging with intention. One of my favorite things to do is to really have healthy sweet treats on hand. So I have 5 sweet treats for our viewers here today that will give you recipes, things like, oh, maybe some brownies or
Mm.
a delicious coffee cake that you can be able to have first thing in the morning that is actually nourishing and are still feel like the treats, and they're simple. You know, one of the things I was sharing with Christine before we came on is the fact that I swore off cooking at 19. So I didn't start cooking until I was in my 30s. So everything that I do is easy, simple, delicious, and healthy. So these 5 sweet treats are going to be perfect for you and your family to enjoy to maximize your health and get some delicious little indulgences too.
And the link to that is?
It's bit.ly/5 sweet treats.
And that's the number 5 and sweet treats. Well, thank you for that. I think I'm gonna go and get those recipes. I'm always up for something new. I've actually one of my indulgences is a shortbread type cookie made with almond flour. It's
Mm,
only 3 ingredients, and, it's my little treat. I love them.
perfect.
So well, thank you, Jen, for being my guest today on Make It Click.